Hello YouTube, this is H2O Gaming. Today we are looking at a game which I did with the Tier 8 French brawler, the Flandre. To start off, this game went out pretty well. I had over 200,000 damage in it, and which is more important, we won the game eventually. And it was quite a clutch game towards the end. And also this result pushed me to rank 3 of this year's or this event's leaderboard, which is quite decent for me too. So before we start, some words when to play the Flandre and when not, and if you may like it or not. Basically, the Flandre has very decent guns. They're also quite accurate, so you can hold off with them pretty well. The main selling point of the Flandre is actually the secondaries. It has about the highest DPM in secondaries, but they only penetrate 20 millimeters of armor. So even though if you use IFHE, they are not penetrating like battleships or heavy cruisers. So you do have a fire chance which works out well, but basically this is not a brawling ship like the Schlieffen or one of the newer battleships. But it deals exceptionally well with light cruisers and DDs. And since your main guns, and that's my personal opinion, since your main guns are actually quite decent and they pack quite a punch, they have higher than average penetration, which is about, I think, 78 millimeters compared to the 68. That usually battleships in this class has, it actually can fight quite well using main guns. Reload time is decent, and it actually works quite well. We will see some examples later on that ship can deal quite some damage. Now, let's get to the game here. The Flandre has a tier 9 hull. That means it's quite sturdy, has a good armor, nothing compared like a Lanian or so, but it can handle much better than a Schlieffen, for instance. So I usually, since the ship is also very fast, I tend to go for flanking with this ship. And it's also quite maneuverable, so you can catch enemies quite off guard every once in a while. So to get to this game, I see the bridgeport, and in my opinion what I want to do, I want to protect my DD and the light cruiser that comes with me on this flank. So therefore I'm trying to keep the bridgeport behind the rocks there, so he is able to shoot me but doesn't shoot anyone else. What I have to mention especially is the lightning DD that is playing with me on the side. This guy, in my opinion, understood 100% what a DD is. For instance, right now, he knows that his job is not to actually fight the bridgeport, his job is to keep them lit, so I can see them and I can fight them. And this is what he's doing really well. And even though we don't know each other, we play quite a good team play in this one, because he understands what his role is and how he can contribute most of his abilities to the fight. So I'm taking the bridgeport on, and for some reason he decided to push forward, which is actually quite a bad idea, because he's shown broadside. You see, I can citadel him quite easily, and he stands no chance of doing anything. So whatever, maybe he didn't like to get pushed around or so, but he decided to come forward, and eventually he paid the price. Now I was facing in the battleships that I don't meet so often. Since I don't really know this battleship and what it can do, if it's a sniper or a brawler, I decided to keep my distance. And also I have the problem that I'm facing also the North Carolina. And two ships is fairly hard. So I decide, since I do not have backup at the moment, to go behind this rock and just hide there and see what the two enemy battleships are doing. I can see that the North Carolina is trying to flank right in front of me, and that the Umahari will probably stay in a sniping position. So I'm just waiting, and also to wait for the cooldown of my healing. And I'm waiting for them to come around. I see that our team on the other flank is doing not so great. We basically lost the A and the B point, but we have to finish off these 2 battleships before we can move over and fight the other guys from the other flank. So I try to give a shot, but yes, I'm hitting rocks mostly. So I'm just waiting for who's gonna happen. My plan right now is I expect 1 battleship to come in from the left and the other one from the right, so they try to make a pincer move on me. I signal the DD that I need to see what's happening so I can arrange myself and maybe make a decision if I move further backwards or if I start to go in on a brawl with the North Carolina. And I'm gonna look and see around, and I see that there's an enemy battleship in the back that is actually shooting me. But for right now, I do not want to turn my turrets towards him and fight him, because I expect the battleships to come around as they do right now. So I see that this was the right idea to expect them to try to pincer me. So I have now 2 choices. I can fight the North Carolina, and you will see I'm not doing much damage. Here I'm trying to shoot the superstructure to get some damage because he's good, well angled, and I don't do much damage to the North Carolina. In order to not fight both of them, I move again behind the rock to focus on the North Carolina and keep the Umahari out of the fight for now. And I try my best to shoot the stern of the Umahari. And you can see even North Carolina is actually fairly well armored. I can do some decent damage. So we slug it out here a little bit. He, as you could see, he gave me full broadside, but since I'm pretty well angled and I'm decently damaged, I took no damage from him, which is actually quite well. The angling is not so difficult with the Flandre, and yeah, right now I'm trying to shoot him and citadel him, but with my guns, even so on this distance, I did not manage with this angle to hit him. So we pass each other, and now I'm turning my back towards him and try to get an angle between him and the Umahari. So on the back side I have also some quite decent guns, secondary guns. So I try to citadel the North Carolina again, and this time the angling is much better, and I hit the citadel and finish him off. Now I'm focusing with the Umahari, and you can see the difference already, that the Umahari is not so heavily armored, and my secondaries are penetrating the Umahari much better. I think he's more kind of a sniper ship. He's trying to take off, but he actually stands no chance because the Flandre is actually quite fast ship. So I can catch him up pretty well, and I try to stay behind of him because he can only use half of his turrets, while I try to focus on angling. So he wants to turn around to use his front turrets, but this also opens him up for more damage from my secondaries. And as you can see, right now until the entire game I lit like 9 fires, which is actually quite a lot, and I hit him again and he's done. Now it's like a 2 versus 2. The enemy DD, at the moment I have no idea where he actually is. seriously need a break to heal up. I have like 20 seconds to wait before I can heal up again. I'm not actually so worried about the DD as from the gunfire point, as long as I don't get hit with torpedoes. This is why I try to stay on the rocks here and wait for my heal to come off cooldown. I expect the enemy DD or the cruiser to be in like this general direction to the left from the A and B point, and now I see the enemy DD. I did quite some miscalculations. I just shot and most of the shots land in the rocks, but you can see my secondaries, they are actually hitting and doing quite some damage on the enemy DD. I was thinking for a second if I turn in, but I thought actually that the Kagero would expect me to do this and was sending some torps. Then all of a sudden the enemy cruiser shows up, but he's pretty low on health, and my guns were pointed in the right direction, and even though he was angled, he stood actually no chance. So we delayed it him too. So at this situation, I think the fight is almost over, unless the lightning runs into some torps. We should actually win this. So I'm trying to move around the corner and help the lightning maybe to finish him off, but he can do this all by himself. So this was actually quite a good game, and it showed pretty much what the Flandre can do. The biggest obstacle with the Flandre actually is that the secondaries don't hit as much, but the trade-off is decent guns with decent penetration and speed, and fairly well angled. So you do not have to be afraid of a brawl, but you can use your speed to angle correctly at enemy battleships, or maybe even try to flank them, because you're just that bit faster to make this entire game work. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye bye.